You're listening to iFanboy Pick of the Week, episode 990. My name is Connor Kilpatrick, and always with me every week is my pal, Josh Flanagan.
I'll be with you in a minute. Just hang on.
Welcome to iFanboy 2025. It's the 20th year of doing this show, or 20th year of doing iFanboy, which can't be right because I heard podcasts were invented by Mark Maron. And that means every week for 25 years, one of us picked the book they like the best from their stack of comics. We call that book the Pick of the Week. I'll talk about that book, other books in the week, the Patron Pick, listener mail. We'll have fun. It'll be a good time. You'll have spoilers coming to you. So here's a spoiler warning. Exercise some caution. Josh, you had the pick this week. Go.
So, yeah, I Hate Fairyland number 43 is the
Yes.
pick of the week. I have to scroll up to make sure of that. I'm unprepared. Actually, I was fixing another part of the thing right now. So what do you want? Story by Scotty Young, art by Derek Laufman, who is not the regular artist, but damned if I can tell you the difference. No, I think Brett Bean is the normal artist, but I think Scotty brings some people in here and there. I looked up Derek Laufman, and he's a cartoonist. He's done
from the Newport Laufmans.
Of course, the Newport Loft, not to be confused with the Rochester Loftmans,
right? Absolutely,
because they're quite gauche, if we're going to be honest. Of course, Jean-Francois Bellieu on colors, and Nate Picos is, of course, Scotty's regular letterer as well. So this is an unusual pick, right? Who saw this coming?
Well, this is only the second time it's been pick of the week ever.
Yeah, and I guess the first one was the first issue. Is that
issue 6?
Oh, no shit. I believe
which was, by the way, 2006. So how long? When did this series start?
No way.
Yeah,
he's been doing
this is the second
19 years.
I'm sorry, 2016. I forgot.
Thank you.
We're not in 2016. I had a very existential moment there for a second.
No, I feel much better now.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the deal. We open on the desert islands. It's an island that is here. It just has it looks like it's made of desserts. You see, it's a nice place.
Delicious.
And then there's the Confection Coast Guard, which are tanks with frosting and cherries on them that are going into big warships. And their base looks like the G.I. Joe fort, if I'm going to be honest. And a man with a cookie head, a chocolate chip cookie head, is giving a military speech, not unlike Patton.
Oh.
And he says at the beginning, "I'm not going to sugarcoat this." There's one. That's a good time. And he says, "All right, we've got, unfortunately, communications were cut before we get the coordinates, but our insiders have been found somewhere near the Charcuterie Channel." What's this? So they bring in Gert, the main person, and she's a mercenary for hire. She's going to lead a group of these dessert people over to the islands of their enemies, the appetizer people, to rescue some of their desserts that are there. Because this is about the age-old conflict between desserts and appetizers. This is a standalone issue that has nothing to do with the ongoing thing. And as I read it right away, I was like, this is really fun. And I just was kind of happy. And about halfway through, I think this could be pick of the week. It's probably the second book I read. And, 43 issues later, I don't know if that counts the initial run of however many, but it's a lot of issues. And it's still going, and I didn't think it was going to have that, and I still enjoy it. But this one very specifically, it's this dumb premise, and it has very little to do. It's just, at this point, we're just on little Gert adventures. But single issue, fun story, fun premise, stupid puns about dessert, which apparently I'm okay with now. Who knows? And then the big...
Getting soft in your old age.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go ahead and they land at Queso Beach, because it's all appetizers over there. So I'm just gonna give it away because it works on the strength of the gag.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets there, finally makes her way into the place where they're keeping the dessert prisoners hostage, and it turns out they're all cheeses. And she says, "I fully disagree with the fact that a cheese is a dessert. It is not. It may come after the meal, but this is terrible."
Talk to the French.
And so she leaves them there to die and ends the campaign.
Here's why you're a jerk.
Okay.
I told you specifically right before the show I was hungry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I went to the gym before the show, burned a lot of calories, ate lunch a long time ago. I usually eat dinner right after we're done recording. And here you spent the last 5 minutes talking about desserts and cheeses, two of my favorite things. And literally in the middle... in the middle of that, my stomach started growling.
Well,
hopefully, Mike didn't catch it.
but
But
you know, then what I'm going to say is that Scotty did his job here.
I'm so hungry. Yes, it sounded good.
I also really like how, you know,
look, it has to be commended. This book has been going on for 10 years. How many books, indie or otherwise, are on the same run? You know, I don't think there are any Marvel or DC books still being written by the same person after 10 years that I can think of.
And it was like, this was one of the things,
very few indie books.
This is one of the things, like, I'm going to do some of my own books, and this was one of a bunch of them. And I kind of just didn't expect it to go on forever. And I think it's really interesting that there was a very pivotal moment in Scotty Young's career, and I think he would tell you this, when he decided to go do the Wizard of Oz books, or I don't remember what they were, something to do with Oz, The Wonderful World of Oz, or something like that. And that was like a really big turning point for him, and saying, "Oh, I don't have to do all the superhero stuff. I can do."
He got a lot of acclaim for it. He got he got awards.
Yeah, because he was great.
Yeah.
And then, so when he decides to take the step away from Marvel, outside of covers, you know, he does this. He becomes a writer, and you know, like he basically, like people today might not know him as a comic book artist, which is crazy. But, you know, and this was just one of several books that he came out with, and a lot of them have been great and also very different from one another. But the fact that this was just still going, and it's still, well, you know, like, clearly they're having a lot of fun with it. The other thing I really like is that, well, it's primarily been the same artist all along. Other people come in, but man, like, they're sticking straight to the aesthetic, which is the Scotty Young aesthetic. I mean, it's I have to separate myself with the fact that this isn't actually him drawing.
Does he do the covers?
I think so, but I cannot confirm that.
I'm trying to see, but the signature.
I mean, I can confirm it, but no, he didn't. Nope. Covers Derek Loffman, A and B.
Interesting.
But
drawing is annoying.
It's really hard, and it messes up your hands and back and your eyesight, and it's not conducive to, like, drawing, you know, regular monthly sequential comics. It takes a sort of person. And
listen, I'm not. Everyone should do what they want to do. What makes them happy. I'm not going to complain about that. But he is one of the more singular artistic voices in comics of the last 20 years. There's no one like him.
100%.
And 100%. To lose him as an artist is a bummer. I don't even know.
I do wish
he did a sequential page. Like, it's just a bummer.
Yeah.
There's no one like him, and he brought an artistry to comics that was not there before.
Mm-hmm. And an acceptance of a change in style from, you know, like, what if we don't do George Perez?
I'm not going to. Yeah, it's his decision, and good for him. And I just wish he would occasionally do an issue, just because he's just that amazing.
Yeah, it would be fun to see some sequentials here and there, even if it's just a number of pages.
He draws a ton. I follow his Instagram. He's constantly he draws every day. But man, I just wish occasionally he would do like a short or a one shot. But I get it. I know, and I've talked to him about it. You know, he just, you know, it's drawing sucks. It's hard. Takes a lot of time.
And you know, when he first did sequential art, he'd never done sequential art, which is crazy. You know, so
he's an artist.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
He's 100% an artist. It's
100% all the way across the board.
He's a great writer. I'm not taking away from his writing. I read this book a long time ago. I think I dropped off it probably in the first year, but I read all of his books that he was putting out at the time, and they were all good. He's a good storyteller.
Really fun issue. Like, if you were like, I don't know if I'd like this book or whatever, this is actually a perfect single issue to go grab. And, you know, if you enjoy it and it's really fun, you should. Maybe it's not your thing, but you know, it's a perfect little example of what this is. And it's been really consistent and fun, and I really love the dumb gags in this. There's a lot of violence. Many desserts and snacks were killed during this this engagement. So like I said,
is that tank made out of like gingerbread or something? Cookie?
Yeah, they seem to be largely cookie based.
The cake tank? It's a delicious tank.
Stay with me, buddy. Stay with me.
Sorry.
I feel like what happened was Scotty did that Rocket Raccoons series, and he drew it, I think, for like the first 4 issues, and it sold like a fuck ton of copies. You know, it was like 300,000 copies at a time, where that never happened. And after that, he's like, I'm gonna do what I want now.
He's also, I mean, no, that's telling tales out of school. He told me something I'm not going to say. So, yeah, I mean, I'm, you know,
You know,
I'm glad it's still going.
you take your career by the reins that you want to take it in,
Yeah.
and there's a handful of people who've done that really successful, being really big names and going and doing it. But it's just like Kirkman, like still making comics, doesn't have to make comics. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's in your bones. You do the thing. Like they're still making. I don't know what this is selling, but you know,
this
10
this
years
got
later, 9
renumbered,
years.
right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
This is volume 2.
yeah. I don't know how long the first one went.
It's interesting. It'll be interesting to look to see how many total issues
Yeah.
it's been, because it's been a lot. It's a bummer. I get it. We all know why the comics get renumbered. At this point, 43 is it any different than issue 112? Like at this point, you're
I don't
beyond the benefit of their renumbering.
utter speculation here.
Yeah.
But my guess is he planned to do it as a miniseries and finish the miniseries, and then after a little while went, yeah, I want to do more of that.
So interesting. The first series was only 20 issues, the first volume.
Mhm.
So there must have been a long break in the middle.
I think there was.
So
And
it's
like,
not been 10 years total, like total consecutive.
When it came back, it was a surprise. And at first it felt like, oh, we're going to wrap this story up. And then it just didn't stop. Sort of like Fables. Fables
Okay,
like
so
ended, and they were like, let's keep going.
The first series went from 2015 2018, 20 issues, and then it came back in 2022. So we took a 4-year break.
Yeah.
And that's 63 total issues so far.
That's not nothing.
No, that's incredible. In this day and age?
Yep.
That's something nothing to sneeze about. Okay. So when I look at the list this week and saw Bug Wars number 6, I also saw it said 6 of 6, and I went, what? And I can't recall anywhere else it's saying it was a 6-issue miniseries. When I went back and looked through Image's website, all of the issues said 1 of 6, 2 of 6. I don't know if that was them going back and adding the number in once they decided when it was ending or not. I don't know if this seemed to read like it was supposed to end, but also
I thought that it felt like a limited story at least. Like,
yeah, so I was just surprised going into it that this was the final issue, but this was the final issue of Bug Wars from Jason Aaron, Mahmoud Asrar, Matthew Wilson, Becca Carey. This was an oversized final issue, and you know, I liked it. I think there's a lot of going on here, and I think he really needed more time to flesh it out because there was so many things thrown out. And it says at the end that it's coming back for another volume. So I'm not saying this is the last time we'll ever see Bug Wars, but then again, you know, they said that about other books that never came back. So we'll see.
At least he finished this story though.
That's right.
It'll live on its own.
So we'll see. But if it never comes back, I think this is a fairly satisfying miniseries. Interesting premise of this Game of Thrones-esque bug community in the backyard of this Alabama home. The cover is pretty. It's a good cover of this bloody lawnmower cutting through the grass, which is basically what happened. The opening, in which they describe in excruciating detail what the bug people are doing to the older brother of the main character, was pretty awful. And then seeing his like eye gouged out by the beetles and things, I was just like, why go outside?
Well, so
I've been ticks.
I've been up and down on this in the fact that like I don't like bugs. Like it's not if I'm to be honest,
take us all down.
The premise of this book isn't really my favorite, but it is the thing. Like this is one of those Jason Aaron is born to draw kind of things. It's not too far afield from Conan.
Nope.
And so like in the middle, I was kind of like, I don't know. But what I think about this issue is I think that it really ended this part of the story really strongly. I thought it was a good stopping point. You know, the kid kind of realized his power. He talked to his dad. You know, they saved his brother because of this horrific attack. And I thought that
it's pretty bad.
Like at the beginning, you know, this is what happened to the guy's father. This is how they got killed. And you're like, well, how did that work? And here they were like, this is exactly how it worked. You're like, all right, that tracks and is terrible. The dung beetles are in his anus.
Did they have to go up his butt?
I mean, they don't care. And that's the other thing is that
like, guy's gonna have digestive problems his whole life.
We have all these stories about, you know, war and people, you know, but like one thing he did help well here is like the bugs don't care.
Right.
Like there's no this is right or it's destroy the enemy, you know, and so that's what they do, and it makes it really scary. You know, and there's a fun thing where, you know, half of the bugs sort of switch allegiances and they come back to the, you know, the kid, and you know, and I like his little friend the beetle. But yeah, no, there's a close up of the brother's face, and it's pretty awful.
He's missing the eye. They talked about him attacking the eye. They were like taking it out in chunks.
The leafcutter ants.
Oh, I'm already
Yeah.
like I'm starting to.
It was pretty rough, but it's
I
really
don't
well
like
done.
bugs. I don't like bugs. I see their
Yeah.
necessity. I don't want them all to go away. I realize we would die without bugs,
Sure.
but I also think we will die with bugs.
Mhm.
At least with ticks. So I liked it. I mean, I thought it was, it's inventive. It made me uncomfortable. That's fine, but it was inventive. It was a fun story. Um,
I also,
if it
when you
continues,
say
I look forward to reading more. If it comes out, if it doesn't,
right,
then that's fine too.
I think that the watchword there is fun,
Mhm.
along with the line. Like, I feel like they were having a lot of fun doing it, which I think goes a long way.
I mean,
That's just
he's hacking away at bugs, saying "No fucking bug shall pass." I mean, it's
yeah.
it's
Yeah, and then
silly. It's silly at its heart.
and the character said "Roll Tide," and I was like,
Right.
"All right, so this is just Jason."
Well, he said that basically, right?
Yeah,
This
no,
is like based on his fantasies when he was a kid.
Yep. So
Yeah. I mean,
success.
if it comes back for book 2, I would like it to be a little more. Well, 6 issues is tough. He has a lot of ideas here, and he crammed them all in. And if this same story had happened over the course of 12 or 24, we might have had some more room to breathe, some more room to really examine the different factions and the histories. As it was, it was just a lot happening all at once. So my wish for volume 2 would be to slow down a little bit more. But
I don't. I'm
That's fine.
100% cool with 6 issues. It's just like living this weird, fast paced, all sorts of things. To me, like it's like Conan. Like they
Mhm.
just come across these tribes of people and they fight, and then you move on to the next one, and it doesn't matter. That's me. Like I don't know that I have the patience to go through all that. So I was fine with it. When it was like the last issue, I was like, all right, this works. But I enjoyed it. I'm glad
Yeah.
I read it. I'm glad these guys got to do this. I just have the sense they liked it.
And here's the spoiler warning comes in. The final page cliffhanger is, we got squirrel people.
Mhm.
We didn't.
Well,
it's not just bugs.
the dad says not to go in the woods, but he didn't hear him, and I was like, oh, Chekhov's forest. So
It was good. It was good.
Yep, good stuff.
So yeah, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna not think about bugs too much. We'll
I'm
be right
always
back.
kind of thinking about bugs.
Right after this. All right, we're back. And so last week, DC had a bunch of books that came out in digital late. And so even though even though this book, Cheetah and Cheshire, Rob the Justice League #1, came out last week, it came out after we did the show. So we're talking about it this week. You didn't read this. I read this.
No, I didn't even register it. For whatever.
It's so rare that Greg Rucka does anything now in the big 2 that I mean he's got a couple of Lazarus is back, and I guess he's still doing that sci-fi one that doesn't.
I like that book.
I do, but when did it come out last?
I don't know. You're right.
So anyway, if he's back at DC with his frequent collaborator Nicola Scott doing this miniseries, which felt really more like it should be a Black Label book, especially in the beginning when Cheshire causes a nerdy scientist to have an erection and tells him to take care of it and think about her. And I was like, this is a DC book.
I don't know who Cheshire is.
She is the baby mama of Arsenal's daughter. She's a villain.
I had to really do so. I was like, okay.
She's a villain.
She's Roy's bit of strange.
She's Roy. All of these guys like to write the hero falling in love with their sexy villain.
Yeah.
And so she is like
powers?
a master of poisons and toxins. And so she's buddies, I guess, with Cheetah, who is obviously Wonder Woman's villain. And they're gonna team up. So here we go. Here's where she tells the guy to go jerk off. I was like, excuse me?
They don't show the boner though.
No.
It's not a pants lump.
She does look down, and anyway. It was just surprising, that's all. I don't have a real problem with it. So she and Cheetah are like they're done with this like penny ante stuff, and they've heard tell that the Justice League up on the Watchtower keeps a box, and in that box is somehow all of their superpowers. I don't understand. Like, it just seems like it's a MacGuffin. I don't think this box exists. I don't think it should exist. I don't think it's a good idea for this world. But they're gonna go break into the Watchtower and steal it, and they're gonna recruit some other people to help them. And so this first issue was them sort of getting the idea together, and then it ends the cliffhanger of them. They're gonna gather their heist team. It's gonna be a heist book by Greg Rucka. I'm all for it. So
Yeah.
I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it quite a bit. I liked, I wish Greg Rucka had a higher profile book. I don't know that people who came along in the last 10 years know how many great mainstream Marvel and DC books Greg Rucka was responsible for, but is a hell of a lot of them.
He was the best. He's one of my favorite writers of all time.
He's one of our favorite all-time writers, both of ours. He's wrote some of my favorite books of all time. He did a great run on Batman. He did a great run on Gotham Central. He did a great run on Wolverine. And he just falls a little bit out of the mainstream. And so this is a little bit out of the mainstream book. And I liked it. And I love Nicola Scott. I know you and I differ on that, but I think she's just such an interesting and unique artist that brings an interesting perspective to the table. It's fun. It's a heist book. It was a little bit longer than normal. I'm looking at the page count here. It's 29 digital pages, so we'll see what that's like. But I'll be into I'll check out a heist book where the villains are going after something in the Watchtower. Why not? It was fun.
All right, yeah.
So we also had Predator Kills the Marvel Universe this week, which I was surprised to find was the sequel to the Spider-Man and Predator book.
I was delighted to find out.
I was delighted to find out, but I was when I saw Craven show up, I was like, oh.
Yeah, no, I was really, and it alluded to a Black Panther Predator.
Yeah, which we didn't read.
I have no recollection of it, but I liked that. I was like, oh, we're doing a little Predator continuity, and it's pretty cool. And I think that did Ben Percy write the Spider-Man?
I don't remember. Maybe.
Okay. I thought this was a whole lot of fun. And
what's great about it is they tell you right off the bat, this is not in continuity when he kills the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then he kills Reed Richards, and then he kills Johnny Storm, and not he, I mean the Predators kill Johnny Storm and kill the Thing. I still hate that goddamn name for the Predators, which I looked it up, and it came from a novelization of a comic book. Apparently, they made a novel of the Alien vs. Predator comic
from Dark Horse.
And in that novel, the writer came up with a name for the Predators race, which again we need to reiterate. No one uses. Just call them Predators. It sounds much scarier than whatever the fuck this.
In the Marvel universe, I could understand them having a name for it. They don't need to, and I think it undercuts their mystery and their menace.
It does, because one of the things that's scariest about them is you don't know anything about them.
Yeah,
and I don't want to get inside the head of the Predator. I don't want to know its thoughts. I don't want to know its. I
agree.
Motivations.
Same as the Xenomorph.
Fears, but here we're doing that.
And I think you're absolutely right. I think right away, when a bunch of characters get killed. By the way, it's in the title. Predator kills the Marvel universe, and we've seen whatever, and usually when it's kills the Marvel universe, it's silly, and then right away this isn't silly, and then so I kind of don't take the title seriously, but then when I started, I was like, oh, they meant the Thing, and they're just going through and killing everybody. It reminds me of, I think Marvel Zombies was maybe the sort of first sort of version of this, where they were just like, no one is safe, and that's what they're doing, and it has the option to be really rote and boring and stupid, but I think Ben Percy did a fantastic job in writing a story that was just right.
Yeah.
In sort of it being sort of over the top and silly and having stakes, and I guess this like I could see a situation here where in this book the heroes don't win, and I kind of like that being an option,
or at least a lot of them lose. I mean, I think in the in one of those Godzilla DC books, I think one or two heroes got killed by Godzilla, but they were like, I think maybe Guy Gardner, who's now a big star, but before, a year ago, it wasn't like Wonder Woman got killed. Here, the book kicks off with Guardians of the Galaxy all getting wiped out, and then the Fantastic Four mostly getting wiped out. So like that's a big statement that this book, when you read a book like this, we talked about this during Predator and Spider-Man, that anything could happen.
Well, you know what's really great about that? So it's on 1, 2, 3, 4. It's page 5. It's a long book. Page 5 of the book. So the 5th page of sort of the Guardians, and you know, there's a problem. Let's go, Peter. You know, they meet the other guys, like, we gotta kill, and it's just, I just snapped into, I'm reading a regular Guardians book. I just like, okay, I guess this is like a Guardians book. And then you flip the page and Peter and Rocket are killed, and I was surprised because it was sudden and definitive. I was like, oh right. And then I remembered what I was reading, and then we cut to what is maybe one of my favorite things is that on the blue area of the moon, which is a concept of Marvel that I love very much. The Fantastic Four have a little lounge where they have hot cocoa and sit in their 70s Merv Griffin set chairs and stare out at the moon.
Why not?
There's lush foliage behind them. And again, very suddenly, something happens to Reed that we have never seen happen before. You know,
well,
and
that
he
was the one
bleeds
thing.
out.
That was the one thing. I mean, I don't try to get hung up on these things, but we've talked about this many times. The Predator cuts off his arm and he's bleeding everywhere. And that's where I was like, does he have blood anymore?
I assume.
Because the Plastic Man is just plastic. He's got no innards.
And that creeps me out. I want Reed to have blood in there.
It's just everything stretches for you.
Yes.
Even the bones, the ligaments, the tendons.
All the things. They just have an elasticity. And in my mind, I think a little bit that when he's not stretched, he's normal.
Okay. All right.
And like, but like if something happens, like he's attacked, it flexes there.
Well, if you need to go into your mind and see him not stretched, you can go watch the movie again.
I think there's
also
a moment. Do we have Fantastic Four? No, we don't have it in the show. There was a moment where he did some cool stretchy thing in this, and I was like, that's what I'm talking about. Doing cool stretchy shit.
There was a nice little subplot where the Weapon X people are making a Weapon X Predator. I guess from one of the ones that stayed around during the last series. And that's, you know, Dr. Cornelius and these guys, it's going to go badly. It's going to go badly for everybody. And I just like the chaos and the unpredictability of this, which is fun.
It was really fun. It should be stupid. It should be a bad crossover. It's the same thing. Like there are all those books over at Dark Horse where they did Predator and Alien, and I didn't care, you know. But for whatever reason, these are fun. And
I like that. You know, Sue can turn invisible, but that doesn't stop a Predator. Predator sees your heat signature. That was a fun. You know, that's a nice little thing, and it's also ballsy to take out the stars of your big summer blockbuster film right from the get-go. You know, and also you lose Reed's brain, right? Like it's almost always like Reed will figure it out. He may not be the guy that punches someone, but he'll figure out how to do it. And now he's out. Well, I mean, the implication he's dead. They haven't said for sure he's dead.
That's true.
He seems pretty dead.
I mean, the fact is, the Predator, it turns out to be a much safer box office bet than the Fantastic Four. So this is the correct way of things if we're talking about it in those terms.
It does make me really want to rewatch the original movie. It's so. I watched it so much. I think I had that on video when I was a kid on videotape. Like
their mouths still creep me out.
Oh my god, they're crab mouths.
Crab mouths.
That movie,
killer vaginas,
features two governors fighting predators, and one of the guys in the group is Shane Black. He acts in that movie. He's one of the guys in their team.
That's lovely.
It was a great movie. It's a great 80s action movie. That's what I'm saying. It's not Citizen Kane, but it's fun. All right, it's another time for another break. We'll be back right after this. Okay, we're back with more. This time, another EC book. Only Press is, I think it's 65% of all their books are EC books, I think, at this point.
Yeah, no problem with that.
Blood type.
It's EC's time. So, first of all, the art team, or the creative team on this is fantastic. Karina Becco, who does horror stories and sci-fi stories. She does a bunch of things. She's been steadily writing all different kinds of stories. Andrea Sorrentino on art, and I was like, oh wow, that's a big time. Dave Stewart on colors, which is, you know, it doesn't get better than that. Yep. And then superstar Richard Starkings along with Tyler Smith on
Richard
letters.
Starkey's been doing all the EC books letters, but it's interesting because usually the smaller companies can't afford the art rate because the art rate's the highest rate on the book.
Right.
And so usually it might be a good writer, but they usually have to skimp on the art because they can't afford it. So I was a little, and I was like you said, I was like, oh, that's pretty good. But this is also the only one that's not an anthology. This is the only one.
It's not an anthology. It's what I assume is a mini series. I read the first one just on a lark because I tend to read Karina's books when they come out. Even though it's a vampire book. And I was like, I don't really care. And I read the first one and I was like, whatever, it was fine. And then I was like, I probably won't read. And then when the second one came out, I thought, I don't remember if I liked this one. I just read it and I was like, I kind of like that. And I got into the third one. I was like, all right, I'm enjoying this now. And it really it's not. I'm not going to be like, oh, here's this great new twist on vampirism. It really has a lot to do with style in terms of there's this. One of the things that's interesting is at the beginning of the book, basically, there's this woman who's a vampire. It's just an attractive young woman. And turns out she was, became a vampire in the 100 years ago or whatever it was. And she's on this tanker. This is in the first issue. She's on an ocean tanker, and she's just taking out the crew one by one until there's one guy left that she needs to steer the boat, and then takes it to a resort, and then goes to the resort. And she's like, I should get a snack, or whatever. She's just she doesn't take humans seriously. Their food, their whatever, and seeing it. And as we keep going, there's this mystery about, wait, are there other vampires here, and who is this person? There's a bunch of twists that took place both in the past and in the current time frame of this, and it just looks great. I was like, all right, I love Andrea Sorrentino. And then you put Dave Stewart on top of him, and I was like, this is a high quality. This might be the highest quality book ever come out of Oni.
Careful.
No, you know what I mean.
Bradley O'Malley just twitched somewhere.
Yeah, but that was a one-man show, and that they do. But in terms of bringing on all this high-end mainstream sort of talent, that's unusual.
True. No, I was surprised.
That's unusual for every Dark Horse, Boom, IDW, whatever.
That's what I mean. Normally they can't afford this kind of talent. And we talked about this last week, I think, when we talked about the other EC book, the sci-fi one. That there's got to be an audience for this because there's a lot. They're putting out a lot of them.
Yeah.
So there has to be enough of an audience that makes it profitable for Oni to do this.
I hope so. I mean, we're several cycles.
They went a second volume in that one, so they must be. The first volume must have made money, which is great.
I mean, if they've fallen on their face and didn't sell any issues, I can't imagine it'd still be going.
I mean, look,
take advantage of some license that no one cares about.
If you don't know the history of comics, which is totally fine, you don't need to read comics. But if you don't, at one point, these were the dominant genres: horror and sci-fi and romance, and they sold more than superheroes. And so, it's nice to see that there's even a little corner carved out of this EC world for it, especially as everything else is consolidating and going away. Yeah,
fun little book.
All right, Uncle Scrooge, Earth's Mightiest Duck #1. This is the most Italian book on the market this week. From Jason Aaron and Mahmoud Asrar. He drew the opening, which was. He did a great job drawing the ducks.
Sure. They all kind of did. Like I didn't really see Mahmoud Asrar or Giuseppe Camicoli.
No, I mean this.
I was looking for them, but they were like, "No, we're doing Don Rosa, Karl Barks.
He can do it." But after you get past Jason Aaron and Mahmoud Asrar, you got Ciao, Cangialosi, Giuseppe Camicoli, Danielle Ortolini, Ariana Consoni, and Joe Caramagna, honorary Italian.
Our cousin from back east.
So. This is the most Italian book on the market. I didn't realize this was coming. When I saw it on the list. It wasn't even on my pull list when I originally made it. It was like, oh, interesting, because we liked that one shot he did as Jason Aaron a while back, and we figured that was it because he was doing his tour of IP after he went non-exclusive.
IP he really liked,
and so he's back with this 4-issue miniseries from Marvel and Disney, and I really liked it because the thing about the Ducks. Is that they're super malleable. You can put them in any situation. You go back and read those old classic Duck books, which as a kid I adored. And they fight all kinds of weird creatures.
And this,
so this was not weird to have them fight aliens and have time travel involved.
And this to me also was really, to me, I could tell I was like, oh, this is a person. These are people who have read and are fond of the Karl Barks Duck stuff.
Yes,
So like
absolutely.
it was connected to those. There's a double page spread,
Oh yes, love that.
that basically shows, and I think it's original stuff from the
Yeah, that's
old
all
books.
original. Yeah.
And it's just all these different images from the book, and like those things are very wide ranging and fun and ridiculous and brilliant. And this is just trying to stand on those shoulders.
I
And
love
to
those
be
books.
honest, yeah, no, they're great. I've read them many times. I've read them with my kids many times. The fact that Huey, Dewey, and Louie are the just like in the cartoons, are the most resourceful characters in all of narrative story. And then
Donald
I
Duck's the
would say
most
at the same
feared.
time, yeah, and the I think the plot was actually pretty good. I was like, this is just a comic book, like it's a time travel alien, whatever.
Aliens invade. That they want to take all of Duckburg's cultural artifacts. So they take all their paintings and all their books. And there's a little bit of a commentary on comics because they put them in Mylar and they put them away where they can never be looked at again. And but then someone at the same time has taken all of Scrooge's money again. This happens all the time. His security's terrible. And so it becomes they need the coins for their robots. Is that what I got from why they want his
I don't
coins?
know. I missed it if it was
they kept
there.
saying that the robots are coin operated. They kept saying
that's funny.
And so I think they don't seem to have much use for. They would have no use for money other than the coins operate the robot. I don't know. Anyway,
but there's something special about his money. They need the number one dime. They called it something else too.
Yeah, so he ends up going back in time to meet himself when he was a shoeshine boy in Glasgow, and the robots follow him. They have a fight, and they start shooting Glasgow with this memory ray, which it's an anti-memory gun, which starts erasing his memory. This was just I mean, I think this is the kind of thing that would have made Carl Barks proud. Like this was, it fits right in. He's Uncle Scrooge is punching out robots because he's the toughest man in the land, and
as his young baby Uncle Scrooge.
So it was fun. And then there was a nice twist at the end with him being revealed to being in this thing where so maybe they're not time travel. Maybe it's just in his mind with the giant beard.
He looks too much like Flintheart Glomgold there, but it's fine.
I thought it was great. I don't know if this was my pick. It might have been though, because I didn't really think about what would have been. But this was definitely a
I kind of saw it and I was like, oh, it's Uncle Scrooge book, and I went, oh, it's Jason Aaron. And then I looked under it and I was like, oh, geez, well, I have to read that. Well, what I said was, oh, I gotta read it, Dad. And then I slapped him on the ass.
On that note,
a haze of cigarette smoke on the Vespa.
We are a listener-supported show, everyone. We also accept sponsors. If anyone from the Italian world wants to sponsor the show. Here's how you directly support the show. Become a member at patreon.com/iFanboy. That's the best way to do it. You can support the show directly, become a member of a great community. There's one on Discord. There is one on Facebook, I believe, still. You can vote on the Patron Pick every week. You get a Patron Power live on the show at the right level. You can join the monthly Patron Hangout, which is happening. Well, it'll have already happened by the time you hear this show. Or not, depending if you're a patron. Not if you're a patron, you get the show Saturdays instead of Sundays. The Hangouts tonight. At $10 or higher, you get an ad-free version of this show. Plus, you get, as I said, the Pick of the Week show a day early. Plus, you get access to the iFanboy After Show on Sundays, where we talk about all the books we didn't talk about in the main show's rundown. We put all of our shows on the ad-free version. So if you don't want to hear us talking about banking or shopping, you can do that. Although, why wouldn't you? There's a discount if you sign up for 1 full year, and you can send or receive a gift membership at patreon.com/iFanboy/gift for more info. We really love our patrons, and we don't. It's been a while since we said it, but there wouldn't be a show without the support. And the patrons are the main support. Everyone supports us in various ways, but the patrons help us pay our bills, help us keep us in new equipment, helps us make the time worth it, because this is a very time-intensive project, and so time away from our families is hard, and so this makes it worth doing. Other than we also really like to do it, it's fun. But tell that to your wife. I found at threadless.com, our merch store. We have 23 designs on shirts.
I mean, we've been doing it for 20 years. She knows.
You can check out. This is our latest design. Our world's greatest comics podcast design. It's just a phrase we came up with out of nowhere. I don't know where it came from, and the design.
It does seem familiar after the fact.
Yeah, it's weird. But you can check it out. That's our latest. We have 23 designs on there. There's 2025 shirts. There's all kinds of fun shirts there. You can get them on mugs. You can get them on stickers. You can get them on skateboard decks. All kinds of things happening at ifanboy.threadless.com. ifanboy.com/support is our digital tip jar via PayPal. If you don't want to become a patron, if you don't want to buy a shirt, all fine things, and you just want to throw a couple bucks our way, you can do it. You can do it there at ifanboy.com/support. Again, it's as we come up on our 1000th episode. If you have in the intervening 20 years become a billionaire and you want to pay it back, pay it forward, pay it sideways, ifanboy.com/support. We will ask no questions about where the money came from, none whatsoever. And then finally, ifanboy.com/Amazon. That's where you can shop. There's a general shopping link there. It's a great way to help if you're doing any shopping at all. There's links, and we get a little piece of the action. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't come from your pocket. Comes from Amazon's. And we do appreciate that. It actually really does help. A lot of people do it every month. It's kind of astounding to see the numbers when we do see them. But we appreciate that. Thank you very much. Everyone does that. And finally, bookshop.org is our partner for local booksellers. And if we can do it, if it's on the website, we'll put it up there. That's how you can buy the books load that way. We do appreciate all those people who help us out, whether it's through Amazon, through PayPal, through Threadless, through Patreon. Those are all the ways the show keeps going. That's how you get microphones. That's how you get lights. That's how you get better internet. That's how you get books. We do appreciate that. Thank you very much. So let's move on to the next book on our list, which is Blood and Thunder, number 4, which I think I said I was going to drop after the last issue, but I did read this one. But I read this one.
So this one sort of totally flips the script on what they're doing. So instead of hanging
I'm
out
glad
with
I
a
read
balding white woman, it's this other thing about this sort of, I guess, almost like a colonial British society where
Yes.
and I don't know that we knew all this stuff before, or if this is even the same planet. I guess it's not. But we just
I thought this was great.
Yes, we see another part of this
was
universe,
really great.
And these like high class sort of Victorian gentlemen, they've colonized this world and they've put all of the natives who they look down upon, to put it politely, into service for them, and they're savages, or whatever it is. And it was so fun and different from what it was. And so the idea, like, they're really building a world with these different things, and I thought this was stronger than what had come before, and also almost doesn't seem like the same book.
100%. I wish the cover was different, because the cover really doesn't tell you that this is a wholly different story involving nothing to do with the main character of the book, who is on the cover. But there's some creature that's killing people, and the natives of the planet, they know what the creature is. They have their folklore, but we'll just call them British people. We're like, you pat it on the head. Oh, native, you savage natives. You don't know what you're talking about. And they just, the guy's just like, whatever, dude.
What's funny is that they came up with a name for them, which is the Malians, because I guess the planet is Malia, and so they call them Malians. But the guy's like, actually, we're Pugmy. And I was like, that sounds like pygmy. So maybe don't use that word. But either way, like that colonialism and the racism and everything is sort of all here. There's a bit with the church. I don't know. It was really, it was delightful.
It was a good bit of world building, and science fiction has a long history, and fantasy, of using real world events to frame the world around and to make it sort of a traditional British colonial world where all the natives are now the servants of these people who've come on, and they have a folklore, and it was really, really good. If this had been the first issue of a new comic, I would have been super into it.
Oh yeah, the pub is called the Quark and Bosun. And I was like, it's nice, Bosun Higgs. I almost
don't need to go back to the other. I mean,
also, just real quick, did you read the letters at all?
I didn't,
because someone wrote in and was like, "What's the deal with that girl's hair?
Good,
is she bald or what it is?" And the writer said, "This is." He said, I'm just going to read it to you. This is no joke, probably the most asked question about the book.
Yeah.
Even my wife looked at the covers and was like, is her hair supposed to look like that? The answer is that it's not hair. It's probably better to think of it as a free-floating plasma cloud that has Blood's head as its center of gravity. And yes, it's definitely part of her alien biology. That means you fucked up the design.
Yeah, that means the storytelling is poor. Yeah.
It's
if everyone's asking that, including your wife, then you've not made this clear.
Yeah, and she's
maybe
like
maybe
on the cover, it looks like a woman with male pattern baldness.
it
That's
was
all.
maybe slightly too clever by half.
Yep.
Like just have her be bald. It wouldn't have changed the story.
I think it would
the cloud
work.
doesn't do anything.
It would work in movement. Like if it was animated,
If it was
live
animated as a
action,
movie or something,
it would work. But it doesn't read. It just
Much
looks like
like-
somebody is very inconsistent with the hairline on art. That's what it looks like.
Right. Much like Absolute Superman's cape, this is not really working.
Right.
But this is a great issue. Honestly, if you have read Blood and Thunder, I wouldn't say pick this up to know if you like it or not. But this was a terrific story, and it's continuing.
100%.
Like it's a one shot. So
yeah,
I'm glad I sort of went, all right, I guess I'll read it, and then
great issue.
At first I was like 5 pages in. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, I did. I checked. I was like, did I miss a thing? It was good.
Transformers 23. This is the penultimate issue of Daniel Warren Johnson's run with 25. Robert Kirkman and Dan Mora take over the book because Dan Mora must have 15 arms.
It's just I wish that they would spend some money on decent talent for these books.
So I have to say I've been holding on. I've talked about this before. My sort of angst on Transformers. I've been holding on by my fingertips, but this issue was awesome. And when I got to the final page, in which basically Megatron and Optimus Prime are running at each other with fists raised, I went, yes.
One shall stand and one shall fall.
One shall fall.
They're not even worried about it. No, we're going to lean into those cliches fully, and it's like this is the place to do it. That's fine.
I thought this was great. I mean, I still like the whole mythology of it, and like all of the different Transformers and all of the different stuff with the sparks and things. I'm a little bit on the edge of just because I was never a huge Transformers fan, but I like them enough and know them enough to that final moment, and also the battle. Like they can't get Optimus Prime to wake up from his Prime sleep, and so. They take up arms and they have a big battle with the Decepticons and the double page spread of them running at each other like it's Lord of the Rings. And I always loved Soundwave. He was one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I love Soundwave.
That's weird. I don't know. I do. Yeah?
He was a boombox.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
You're not looking.
I am looking. I said Soundwave.
Yeah, I know.
I know you're holding it up. I see it. That's why I said his name.
He comes with 2 tapes.
Yes, Ravage and the other one.
This is my first Transformer.
Yeah, he was. I loved him. I had a toy of him. And then the ending. There's. I like the backhand on Starscream. Like it's just everything you want. Everything you want.
I'm really enjoying the Megatron Starscream relationship in this.
With 3 Ps.
Why?
And so then Optimus Prime wakes up, and I like that Megatron drops his giant gun arm, or not the arm, but the gun from the arm.
Mm.
They're gonna fight like men, like robot men. I liked it.
Megatron has that like sort of villain with honor thing.
Yeah,
he's just, or at least they're hinting at it. But
at least with Optimus Prime, I mean, it's like
right.
They're gonna go down. Who's the toughest? It was good.
Did you ever see that movie with the throwbacky one with them? I wanted to, and then I forgot it existed.
The
animated
one
with Hemsworth and
Chris Hemsworth is. Listen, if it's not Peter Cullen, I'm not interested.
I know, but it was like young. It was about their relationship, but it also looked kind of funny, and I meant to watch it, but then I forgot.
I think it's meant for kids, which doesn't mean you won't like it. I think it's aged down. But that could be.
I think that's correct.
So those are the films we wanted to talk. Those are not the films. Those are the movies we wanted to talk about. But at patreon.com/iFanboy, every patron gets a vote to book to the rundown. Last week, the patrons overwhelmingly voted for Cheshire and Cheetah, Rob the Justice League, but that book was ineligible because it wasn't out in digital in time. And so I figured they'd re-vote for it, but no, they voted for Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum, Book 1 from DC Comics' Black Label. Story by W. Maxwell Prince, art by Martin Morazzo, colors by Chris O'Halloran, and letters by Good Old Neon. And this is the team behind Ice Cream Man, behind HaHa, behind that sort of W. Maxwell Prince corner of Image Comics. And Ice Cream Man is a book that people are always telling us to read. We read the first one as a patron pick. Neither one of us liked it. We loved HaHa. We also loved
another one. There was something about the end or something. There was one about endings.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was Martin Morazzo.
I thought it was. Oh well, it was W. Maxwell Prince though.
Yeah. So interesting book that I liked some of and disliked some of. There were things I really didn't like about it, and there were things I liked about it. But
I'm curious what you really didn't like.
I didn't like the characterizations. I thought Superman was portrayed as being a dullard, and I thought I hate the Batman sociopath robot version. Here's what he was here. I didn't like the characterizations for the most part. I like the art. Martin Morazzo has a little bit of a Frank Quitely vibe, but more indie, more sort of lumbering indie. I like the way he drew the costume. It looked like it was fabric. It looked like he was wearing sort of wool. Superman was. I like that. And the idea that they found all this new kryptonite in this, meteorite, and so now they've got to catalog it and they've got to test it. But Superman just came off as like a dumb idiot in this book, and I don't believe he would test it on himself like that, because gold kryptonite takes away his powers permanently. And how would you know what it does? You just let him test on you. So I don't know. I thought the characterizations were kind of grating and stupid, but I thought the book was interesting. I liked Lex Luthor in it, and I will keep reading it.
I didn't feel that way about the characterizations. I thought it was like a weird choice, but that he'd be like, no, test him on me. But I kind of got it. Like, he's making the sacrifice or whatever. But I think the thing that worked for me, I really liked this, just to sort of put that out there, because I thought that what it did was it took a couple of creators' pretty specific voice and point of view and mixed it with sort of a DC, I don't know, half modern age, half Silver Age kind of story. And it didn't lose any of the elements of all those things. So if we're just talking about a thing out on its own, I don't know. It felt like it was an odd, weird thing. It's like when, it's not exactly the same, but like when Mike Allred draws one of these books, like it's just a little sort of out of place. And it's just interesting that, I mean, I was thinking, Prince has been doing books now for years, and I feel like this is the first mainstream stuff I've seen him do. So I was like, oh, that's really interesting. I haven't seen that so far. But then when he comes on to do it, he brings his team with him from the other books they're doing, and they do it in their style as their thing. And I thought, I think I said something like recently where I was like, boy, if you have a Superman book to pitch, this is the time.
Yeah,
because they're putting anything out.
The thing I really liked about it a lot, which was the structure. So the first kryptonite, I guess every issue will be him testing a new kryptonite. They found 4 of them. This one, he's testing the purple kryptonite, which makes Superman experience time out of order, makes his brain.
That was really well done.
That's what I mean. The way they portrayed that, the way, like, there's a fight scene that happens totally out of order as we read it. And then later on, it's like he's looking at photographs, and then we see the same panels in the book, but portrayed in the right order, so that each one made sense. Was really well done, and the way that the dialogue came in from different parts of the book at different times, almost like Crisis on Infinite Earths when Batman, when Flash was popping up, like, it just, everything worked. Like, the structure of it worked really well to show how his brain was not firing properly.
And this is what I'm talking about in terms of, like, this is from the books that I've read from these folks. Their storytelling is unique, but also their ability to break the form and do different things. I just thought, they let these people with this voice run with it, and this is sort of what they came up with. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I was impressed by it. It felt unique.
And I want to be clear, like, I didn't love the characterizations, but that's fine because it's a Black Label book. I'm not, like, getting bent out of shape. I just didn't like it. I'm not saying this shouldn't have happened. I'm just saying this particular version I wasn't a huge fan of, but the story is interesting. I don't love the Lois Lane subplot where she's 40 and wants a baby, and that's kind of boring. But
that's in the. Was that now or is that the future?
Oh, we're doing this again. This joke.
Wait, no, you know what? That wasn't a joke. Because I was reading and I was like, is this supposed to be like far in the future?
No, because he has the date in the issue.
Okay.
In fact, he forgets about it. Batman's like, you already had that date. This is clearly an older, situation. This is further.
So he's just bored. He's like, you know what? Let me try him. Fuck it.
He's the middle-aged guy who starts microdosing. And I really like there was like a one throwaway thing where Batman takes a little piece of the purple and puts it in his belt.
Yeah, I caught that.
But there were things I really liked about the book. I want to be clear. There were things I really did like about it. So I have no problem continuing to read this as we go. That's a spoiler for the questions, but I did notice a couple of very prominent super bulges in the way they drew him. And like when at the end, spoiler, the blue Kryptonite turns him giant, but he's got a kind of a bulgy situation here. And I just say this because we had the whole situation with Batman's penis breaking the internet.
Where now we can't get over the.
And then we had this one. I was like,
oh my goodness!
I know. I was like, somebody get a little excited thinking about his, because it was the panel after talking about his date.
Yeah,
I was like, somebody remembered his date last night. Anyway, so I mean, I was interested to see it because, like you said, it's not just W. Maxwell Prince doing this; it's the whole team from this acclaimed indie book doing Superman. That's an interesting thing, and I'm you know, you make the joke, but I think it's great that DC is doing all these different Superman books with all these different kind of Superman people, or just people. They don't have to be Superman people, but and they even say the cover from the acclaimed team behind Ice Cream Man. I mean, good for them. Hopefully, this book they get some sales out of this.
Yeah, hope so.
So let's rate this book, Superman: The Kryptonite Spectrum, Book 1, DC's Black Label, out of 5 stars. I'm giving it. I was gonna say 3.25. That feels low because I did really like it overall. So I'm gonna say 3.5 out of 5.
3.9.
Ooh.
I'm not quite ready to say 4, but I wasn't sure what to expect.
Sure.
And I really liked what was produced.
And would you have read it without it being the patron pick?
I don't think so.
Oh, interesting.
Because I think I thought it was a different book. When I saw who it was, I went, "Oh, that's interesting." I don't know though. I could have gone either way. I did put it on my list, but I think I put it on my list because I thought this is probably. No, I was going to read it. No, I put it on. No, absolutely, I absolutely was. It was a little bit of a hedge against a patron pick, but also it was like I'm going to check this out. I wasn't 100% sure. I
enjoyed that emotional journey you went on there.
Yeah,
that was fun. And finally, we both read it before it was patron pick, so that I read it before. Yeah. So there you go. Patreon.com/iFanboy. Every patron gets a vote to the rundown.
Wait, there was sticking with it. I mean, yeah.
Oh right, we talked about it. Yeah, we're both sticking with it. But if you give at the $5 or higher levels a patron, you get a superpower live on the show. We call it the Patron Power, and this week's patron recipient is Nicholas Kostecki.
All right, I was told that I need to give credit for this. But what I'm going to tell you is that I'm sitting here. She's not good at it. What I
is it your son? Is it the little one?
So I'm sitting here doing the script, and I get to this. I go, "Oh, it's my turn," and I just go, "Hey, Henry." Henry's 11. I say, "Henry," and he says, "Yeah, Dad," and he says, "Make up a superpower for me." And he thought for, I mean, it was a second or two. He goes, "Super beans." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "Shoots baked beans out of his fingers." And I asked him all the questions. By the way, baked beans are not like a thing that's around that he was just thinking of. It came. I'm a very proud father. And I asked him a bunch of questions. This is what we do. This is the process. And he never shirked. I go, "All right, so
I wish you'd recorded his answers. We could just play them.
Are they cooked?" He told me I had to give him, and as soon as he said it, I was like, "I'm using that. That was good." He's mine. I own what he's a minor.
All IP in the house is created is owned by Josh Flanagan.
Copyright that. I was like, we give it away. This goes to the person. This is Nicholas's thing. Anyway, so I said, "You know what? Why don't you ask some of the questions and we'll see if we."
Are these flavored beans?
They're regular baked beans, like in the can. They're just the standard. I was like, "Are they different?" Because they're just the regular ones,
like the ranch ones that you see in the store.
No, they're just straight up like your bog standard.
Yeah, just like the standard ones that say ranch on a black can.
No, but they don't ranch. What's ranch? That's some local thing.
Ranch style beans.
There's
ranch style is cooked on a ranch. They're ranch style beans, like Cowboys.
I'm from New England. Boston baked beans are from Boston. They come out of a big brick building. They're flavored with molasses and bacon. It's not. I don't know shit about ranch. I think there's cowboy beans. That's a different thing. So just think of Boston baked beans.
Boston baked beans. It's Boston baked beans.
That's what baked beans are to my world.
So where do you think the Cowboys got them from?
I mean, they had beans, but they were slightly different. Okay, this is not.
I know, but I'm surprised you think that they're a New England area. They're everywhere.
It's in a sweet brown sauce.
Okay.
They have a specific texture. It's the baked beans. This is
So
I don't know.
they're warm.
All right. No,
They're not
they are
warm.
the temperature
They're
that they
cold.
come out of the can because
Oh.
they're cooked. All you really need to do is heat them up.
Oh, but they're cold.
Yeah, they're room temperature, whatever it is,
Right,
but they're
but
not
warm.
hot.
They're not
No,
hot.
they're not. They're not. I asked that question. It
Um,
said shoots them out of their fingers.
is there a sound that comes out when they shoot?
Ooh, didn't ask that question, but I would think there's like a squishy, slushy sort of like, and they do have. I said
Because you
that
know
they
when you
have
take
the-
like a big scoop of them and you slap
yeah,
on
it was
the
like
chair-
they have
table-
the liquid.
in the plates. Like,
Yeah, I said they have the liquid, and he said, "Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's just like they come out of the can." So they're
also there's
You know,
liquid
they're-
as well.
well, they're in a emulsion of some
They're always
kind,
in a liquid,
whatever.
but it's
Yeah.
not just the beans. It's the whole whole package.
It's baked bean. Yeah. I said, do they come out of more than one finger? Can they do like 10?
Right? Is it a single
like-
bean per time, or is it like
Yeah,
a,
he said you
an
pick a
automatic
finger. So
weapon,
whatever
or
that
is it
finger
like
is. He said whichever. I was like, is it single or and he goes, whichever you need. I was like, okay, good. And his mom was across the room, let's say 10, 15 feet away. I said, so could I hit her here easily with accuracy, or would they just sort of like on the ground? He's like, no, you can hit her from there. You can aim. Like, it's not gonna kill her, but
Sure. So yeah,
It's
what is the velocity, the force of the bean?
I don't think it's going to be enough to kill somebody, but like
gonna
they'll
ruin their
feel
day,
it, but
though.
mostly it's going to lead to what is a satisfying splat sound.
It's gonna ruin their day, basically.
Yeah, and shirt.
Yeah, that's a laundry bill you don't want.
Yeah, super bean.
I like it.
I mean, instant. He had all the answers. I was like, all right, that's my boy.
Well, thanks for being a patron, Nicholas. Hopefully you enjoy your bean power.
I went to log this. We have a spreadsheet, and I saw that we started the patron powers in the 500s, and I went, Jesus, we've been doing this for half the show?
Yes.
That's crazy.
500. Yes. It'll be 500. Well, whatever, depending on when we start, it'll be close to 500 episodes.
Crazy.
A lot of powers. It's a lot of powers. Thank you for being a patron.
I don't feel like I'm running out. Plus, I got him now.
You need to record him once talking, saying it. All right. So where are we on the show? All right. So let's talk about email. So what you want to pick one? Pick 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1.
Let's do. This one was here from.
What we missed?
Yeah. Okay. Roh P says, I've been thinking about this question for about 181,409 seconds. We applaud you addressing it and your specificity.
Oh, last week I looked up how that, because he was on last week's script. I looked up how long that was, but I forgot what it was.
Should the big two have nebulous timelines like Batman the Animated Series, or should they continue to be set in the current timeline?
Well, this is the thing that we talked about last week. So it's he's been thinking about it for 50 hours, which honestly is not a lot of time.
That actually is not enough.
But we'll take it. We've already
said
it. We've already
You know
read
what? Table this. You come back to me in about 3 years.
So we talked about this on last week's show when we talked about Captain America and the Afghanistan War and the Punisher in Vietnam and World War II. And so for those who don't remember or never saw, the Batman the Animated Series took place in what was, I guess at the time it was called retro modern. So like gangsters walked around in fedoras and carried Tommy guns, but there was some kind of modern technology, but there were like balloons that weren't like they took a mashing up of like the 40s and kind of the modern era, and they put them together.
There was Zeppelin travel, but they also had helicopters,
right,
and jets
and giant computers, and I don't remember if there were cell phones or not, but there was 19. It
would have been before.
There wouldn't have been.
I mean,
and honestly, this is actually kind of a thing that happens in television now. At least it did a few years ago. I don't know if it's still a thing, but there was a lot of shows that were especially shows meant for younger people, were taking place in a sort of a retro modern world where it was now, but like kids didn't really have cell phones, or they didn't really use them, because no one who writes TV wants to write a show about people on their phones the entire time. So it's kind of a thing that bled through into other media, where they picking a sort of a world that's familiar but is old enough that the problems of modern technology don't seep into the stories. Anyway, I think DC does, but because Marvel pins itself more to real world events than DC does, and I think DC's timeline is kind of like whatever, because other than Justice Society, nothing really is pinned to real world events. Marvel's the problem, because Marvel is constantly pinning itself to real world events, and that's where you come up with, the Xing Kong War instead of Vietnam and problems like that.
Well, DC has like who's their Middle Eastern? It was in Greg Rucka's
Kahndaq,
Checkmate.
and they have
There's another one.
Yeah, but they don't say like,
Well, the difference also is
Peacemaker
that, like,
came out of his trauma from Vietnam. They don't, that doesn't happen.
Well, like all the cities in DC,
and they have fake
made up
too.
analogs, and then so, but the way that I took this question was to mean, should they have nebulous timelines? Not if you're talking about a shared continuity. That doesn't work, I don't think.
Well, he means nebulous in terms of like, should like exactly what you said last week. Should they say the Punisher fought in Vietnam and just never try to make it work, or should they constantly try to make it work with these fake wars that they keep pushing forward, or should they have Captain America suddenly appear in the 2000s and be fighting in Afghanistan? Like I'm pretty sure what he's asking is, should they be doing that? And I think we talked about it last week, is that it just makes a mess of things, and it's too close. We're too close to, even though it's 20 years ago, we're too close to Afghanistan. We're too close to Iraq.
Yes, I agree with that.
There's too much baggage on those things to
put. But we're no closer to it than Captain America would have been in the 60s, but then Captain America.
For sure. This is yeah. We would have had a different conversation if we were reading these comics in the 60s.
I think the messiness of that has a certain charm that belongs in comic books. I think like there's things, and I can have specific
the messiness of what? Which
the messiness of trying to make it work like Marvel does. There's something I kind of like about it. It can be confusing and it can be a mess, but it's sort of the nature of, the no prize. Hey, this doesn't make sense. Yep. You're right. Here we are. And I like that you have to have a malleability of thought, and it's something that's really fun about it. The way that I took this question was to me, like, the Batman animated series exists in its own timeline because it's the only thing there. It doesn't cross over. Does it exist in the same universe as Justice League and Superman and whatever?
Yeah.
But the times are different. Whatever's going on in Gotham is not the same thing that's going on in Metropolis. Those are in different decades. And I'm kind of cool with that. My thing would be that I don't think that either of the big two should have more than one timeline. They can have stories that are outside of those timelines, but I do not want an ultimate universe. I do not want an absolute universe. Like, it's a short-term thing or whatever.
Well,
but
is the multiverse at the alternate timeline?
I don't like it.
Are we smart
I think
enough
it's a way to
about that?
No.
Is this string theory?
Yes, and I like that it exists. It kind of works. It kind of works. And
is an alternate Earth a alternate timeline, because the Earths exist in the same
I don't want that
timeline, they just are different Earths in different dimensions.
I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want the universes to interact with each
multiverses
other for the most part. I don't like that it becomes this outlet for all of these confusing stories that aren't interesting. I don't, for the most part, I don't like when the universes cross into each other. It leads to fucking the man who laughs, and it's like, I feel like if you're in DC continuity, then be in DC continuity. If you're not, then you're Elseworlds, you're off doing your own thing. I don't like there being an ultimate continuity. And when you had a separate line of books and they were all clearly labeled, that's fine. But if you're reading a lot of stuff, it tends to get confusing, but also it doesn't ever work. Like, the only thing that really has stickiness, the only thing that matters to a reader, to me in a way, is like this world that these people are in and have been existing in for a while. I find that really interesting. That's comic books. That is integral to what the whole thing is.
Yeah.
And you can do anything. I'm not saying not to, but I just think it gets messy. And what happens is, just like everything, people overdo it. And then all of a sudden you get this stupid multiverse mess, and then they have to do a crisis or whatever. Yeah. But again, maybe that's a feature, not a bug. I don't love it though.
Yeah, I understand. I tend to like multiverses only because I grew up reading Bronze Age DC comics, and so that was a heavy feature. But it wasn't overwhelming. It was just more like the Justice Society was on a different Earth, and they would cross over through a dimensional portal as opposed to time.
I like more like I like the
I like it as a spice that I don't like right now. Everything is multiverse, right?
Because
the Marvel movies are multiverse, the DC movies are multiverse,
and like they think they're clever when they connect them, and then
even the Spider-Man animated thing was multiverse. Like everything is multiverse. Even non-superhero. Wasn't there another movie that ended up being a multiverse thing?
It's like trying to have your cake and eat it too. It's too much of it, and so it makes it less interesting. And also, I just think people are trying to come up with original things because everything has been done a million times, and that is a way to do it. But I don't think it's that interesting. And what I do like, hold on, one more thing I wanted to not forget. I like a singular timeline that exists already.
Sure.
So you know that the Dark Knight Returns happens at the end of this thing, or you know that the Legion of Superheroes is going to be there. Same universe, it's just further along the side. The Fantastic Four did that a lot this week.
Well, you can't do that in the future though. Things change all the time, and there's a million future stories.
No, I get that, but that can change or whatever. And then you're talking about like, well, does it branch off or do whatever? It's malleable to me, but I like the fact that there is a continuity of time, both forwards and backwards, in these universes to a certain extent.
I think the ultimate
there's some idea that there's Days of Future Past up there.
Sure,
interesting. I
do think the answer to Roh's question, but they can always prevent it from happening. Anyway, I think the answer to Roh's question is they should continue to be set in the current timeline, but they should do it better. They should think about it. Think about the future. Eckhart, is that
Eckhart?
Is that does anyone really need Captain America to run around in Iraq? Like,
I don't like dealing with wars from the time that I have been alive.
That's what I mean. Like,
it's not fun. It's no way fun. It just reminds me of a shitty world I live in.
But then on the other hand, if they decided, look, we're going to just set up in these nebulous retro modern times that aren't connected to the real world, I'd be fine with that too. I don't really have a strong opinion on either one. I think ultimately it's probably better to have the continuity. I don't love that Marvel tries to make it work. That's Marvel's thing.
Yeah.
They always try to make it work, and it doesn't ever work, and it'd be better just to ignore it and say, yes, Frank Castle is a Vietnam vet. Yes, that means he'd be really old. No, he's not in the comics. It doesn't matter.
The thing is, nothing I've said actually I think should be a rule. I'm really talking about my preference.
Sure, like, but I'll talk about preference, yeah.
Like, but I'm not saying don't do this. You can't. Whatever. Do whatever. If it works, it works. I don't care. Here's what I like. Exactly. Here's what I see of this isn't working. There's too many. Like, it just gets too repetitive, and then it's just too much. It's just too much.
Without starting a whole other branch of this conversation, like a multiverse branch, I had this thought watching Alien Earth. The new show that came out this week, the Alien prequel. No more prequels. No, just keep moving. Let's just keep moving. Prequels are always muddle things. I'm not saying the show is bad. I just had this thought while watching it, because it takes place in between the Prometheus movies and Alien, that you're gonna mess something up. It's just inevitable. And it's the same thing with the Captain America book. Why can't we just tell Steve Rogers' stories moving forward? Why do we have to go back to his coming out of the ice and then set it in the 2000s and set it during the Iraq and Vietnam? Like, don't do that. Just go forward. The same problem I have with the Star Trek stuff. Like, I don't want prequel Star Trek stuff. Tell me stories about Star Trek in the year 1,000 years beyond the next generation. Do that. Like, let's go and let's.
What about Batman Year One?
That's an origin story.
Rejiggered.
Right. I'm not saying never do them ever. I'm just saying there's so many of them now. That seems to be the go-to thing to tell a prequel story, because they
try to fill every hole in a continuity, which is, it doesn't work for Star Wars. And it doesn't work for
the Star Wars was a disaster. I found Star Trek to be kind of a disaster, and
and by the way, you're out there right now. There are exceptions. I cannot think of one right
now.
There's
always exceptions, and there's always good stuff. It just right now everyone seems to be doing like, we're going to tell this from the past.
It's because you have to figure out another way to squeeze some dollars out of that IP. So
I understand. Anyway, thanks, Roh, for writing in. Sorry we missed your email.
We do Jurassic Park, but it's contemporary to the dinosaurs, and they have an adventure where they build Dr. Alan Grant.
I wanted to see that new one, but then it got really bad reviews and I didn't see it.
It was fine. It was a Jurassic Park movie. You know?
Well, there's different.
I know, but it's like they're all kind of, like whatever Jurassic Park 3 was. It's like that's like your baseline. Whatever.
I don't need like monster dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are
That's I didn't like that part of it, but also who cares? There was some cool shit.
We want to hear from you. Contact iFanboy.com is how you can write and get on the show. Write us in about comic book culture, anything to do with it, movies, comics, radio shows from the 1940s. We'll talk about them. I don't know what we're saying, but we'll talk about them.
That we will.
Let's plug some stuff. So about a month ago, we had our Superman
brought to you by
review.
Jarrett's Hall.
Our Superman review. Josh and I and Ron Richards talked about Superman the movie, which is now already coming to digital. If you missed it in theaters. Also, about a month ago is Talksplode with Chris Condon, Josh's interview show with Chris Condon, one of our favorite new writers on the scene. A couple weeks ago, we had our Fantastic Four First Steps review, which Josh and our pal Mike Romo did, and it's on my queue to. I haven't listened to that one. I haven't listened to the show I missed while I was gone. I haven't read those books yet. It's all a big mess in this house right now. I had a guest in the house for a week.
I've never listened to a single show that somebody did that I wasn't on.
I always do in case there's something important you said that I need to know.
You care.
Yes. And then coming this week, actually, we're recording it soon, and coming this coming Thursday is the August Media Explode. It's the one everyone's been waiting for. We're going to talk about the Gilded Age, season 3. I know everyone's been like, when are they going to talk about the Gilded Age?
Hey, it's a huge show.
It's getting bigger and bigger every week. We love it. We talk about it on our Slack all the time. So we're going to talk about the Gilded Age season 3, as well as what we normally talk about, which is what we've been watching. And then we're going to have our summer mailbag. So it's going to be Gilded Age summer mailbag, so you can check that out. And then at the end of the month, we're going to have our book explode for the Avengers and the Veracity Trap. That's coming out later this month. And you look forward to that. So then we're going to start the train rolling now. In 10 weeks is Pick the Week episode 1000. So get ready. We'll be streaming.
We're definitely renumbering after that.
We'll be streaming the show live October 24th. It's my birthday. That's how much I love you guys. I'm going to spend my last Friday birthday, my 40s, and with you. Streaming live at 6 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/ifanboy. There'll be special guests. We're still getting the list together of who's going to be showing up. We're talking about the pick of the week, talking about the patron pick, and then we'll be answering your emails for the rest of this. As long as we can do it, as long as we can stay standing, we're going to answer your emails. So we'll have us on, me and Josh, we'll have special guests come on, answer your emails. So start sending your emails in now. Send them to contact@ifanboy.com. Put 1000 in the subject line. And I don't yet know when the deadline's going to be. It'll probably be earlier than normal because this is going to be a bigger show that's produced than normal. So again, 10 weeks from now, October 24th, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, Big League 1000 live on YouTube. So get ready for it. We're not.
I never will be. You can find our library of a whole crap load of shows over at ifanboy.com, wherever podcasts are sold. Never miss a show, and find out what the pick of the week is before the show comes out by following us at iFanboy Comics on Instagram and Threads. There. At ifanboy.com on Blue Sky, and individually at CS Kilpatrick and J.A. Flanagan. And you can make sure that our former staff writer, when we had that, Jeff Reed, does twice weekly, Tuesdays and Fridays, deep dive videos of forgotten comic book minutia. He is an archaeologist of great renown on this very specific thing, and he'll tell you about it. It's entertaining, it's informative, it fits right in with the things we do, and we appreciate it.
It does. And please consider leaving us a review or star rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. If you're listening on Pocket Cast, you need to download a few episodes and be subscribed to the show before you can leave a review or rate it. We appreciate everyone who does that. It helps. If you can't support financially, the best thing you can do is rate and review the show. It helps people find the show, helps the algorithm, helps feed the beast. Subscribe to youtube.com/ifanboy. That's where you can find this show. You can find special edition shows. Basically every show we do but the Talksplodes. You can find Jeff Reed's deep dives there as well as an archive of all our old shows that we did before YouTube was a thing, before any of this was monetizable. We did it from 2007, 2012. And again, always slightly too early to the party. Finally, join us in the iFanboy After Show exclusively on Patreon at the $10 higher tier. We'll talk about all the books that didn't make the rundown this week, and that's fun. We like doing that. It's a good time. We're gonna do that right now, actually. So thanks for listening. We'll be back
Now?
next week. My name is Connor.
When? Wait, did we already do it?
You missed it, actually.
When?
Yeah, you were really good on it this week.
Awesome. Good night.